Hello, Jen here, and I have this month's Stretch the Sketch video for you guys. So you can see the sketch up in that top left-hand corner. There's a couple of photos and some layers in behind them, and there's chevron, and there's that little embellishment kind of tucked up in the left-hand corner. It's a layout or a sketch by Brenda Ragsdale. And I'm going to aim to get a lot of those elements into my layout. I'm actually shrinking my layout to create a traveler's notebook insert layout. I'm still working away on those 2018 traveler's notebooks. I only have a few little layouts left, and so I just flipped through and I found one that has two pictures. So that was the motivation behind picking this particular layout was just that it had two pictures that would work in that orientation that you see in the sketch. And I'm starting off by just covering the insert paper with this background paper. I picked this out because it's the same light blue that's in the picture, and it's hard to see on camera, but there's actually almost like a faint watercolor mark of leaves in the background of that paper. And so a lot of the layouts that I have in this notebook, it's from September, but it's heading into fall, and so I kind of liked the leaf motif in the background of that paper. And so there are my two photos. It's just photos of my kids and my nieces and nephew at this park we go to, Granary Road. I've scrapped a whole bunch of pictures from this same place, all the spider climbing structure pictures, and now this is just one of those photo booth stands that they have there that you can take some pictures. So my kids are being silly. There's like a giant frog that goes across this, and you have to stand behind the frog. So the kids were being typical goofy kids and took some cute pictures. It kind of looks like they're surfing on the frog's back, so it was fun. And I kind of liked that blue, and then I also liked the green that's in there. So I backed the pictures with some green cardstock just to help them stand off from the background a little bit more. And now I'm going through my ephemera from the Strength of the Season collection, also from Wild Whisper. My How to Kill a Kit with Style kit this month is all my Wild Whisper stuff. So I just stuck it all together into one iris container, and my goal for March is to put a big dent into all of the scraps that I have from all of the different collections, because there's new goodies coming in April and I want to make some room for them. So I'm combining the ephemera from these two collections because I think they work really well together. They have that same green to them. Um, and I like all the little sayings in the Child at Heart collection, but I liked the more fall themed stuff from the Strength of the Season. So I just pulled out all the elements that I wanted for each one. And I'm just working on that top little embellishment. The card with the leaves on it, that comes from Strength of the Season, and I just really like that that brings a whole bunch of color into the layout. There's lots of color in the pictures, and so I wanted to bring a little bit of color with some of the pattern paper. And I added a few extra layers to that too. I like to try to do that in my traveler's notebooks because adding layers and different patterns and colors and things brings a lot of interest to your layouts without creating a ton of extra bulk. So you just saw me there playing with those arrows. I had this idea that maybe I could turn the arrows into the chevron, but it didn't really work out very well. It almost kind of reminded me of bones, the way that they were kind of placed together, and there's like a white um, outline around them. So I don't know, I had this whole kind of skeleton feel to them. Didn't like that very much, so I pulled those off, and I'll come back to the chevron in a bit. Now I'm going to work on a couple of the layers behind the photos. So the photos are just gently pushed down on the paper so that I can keep pulling them up. When I'm working in my traveler's notebooks, I really like to stick the photos where I want them to go so that I can kind of build the layout around them since there's not a ton of space on the pages, and I want to make sure that the pictures are always the focus. So they're just kind of touched down lightly so I have an idea of where I want them to go. And then when I figure out all of those layers, I can go ahead and pull them up and get it all put together. So I'm going to use this card. Again, it comes from the Child at Heart collection. And I just really liked how this vibrant dark orange contrasts with the blue. So it definitely brings your eye straight to those pictures. Those are the focus of the layout. And the cute little fox will get covered up unfortunately, but I just really like the orange. And there are a ton of other foxes in that collection, so they will all get used up. Now I'm going to create the banner, and I decided to do it on this side instead of like in the sketch and put it down at the bottom of the right hand side because I need to cover up that little section of the fox. So the one side of that card with all of the leaves is just black and white outlines of leaves, so that's what I'm using. And then I really like this card here. This is from the Child at Heart collection, and it just, again, brings in a pattern with lots of different colors in it, so it's adding that little bit of interest without adding embellishments that might bulk up my traveler's notebooks too much. Now I want to bring those two patterns to this side, and I was thinking maybe I could kind of add two more banners. And then I remembered that in the sketch, there's a couple places where they just have little tabs of paper sticking out. So that's all I'm going to do on the right hand side is kind of recreate that feeling. And I'm going to use these cute little acorns, and I will put a couple of leaves with that top acorn. I'm just cutting off some of that white trim. Sometimes I leave it on, sometimes I cut it all the way off, sometimes I just cut it down a little bit. I kind of like that you have the option to do whatever you want with the Wild Whisper ephemera, so. And now, instead of completely recreating the chevron, I'm just going to use these leaves and kind of put them going down this right hand side of the page. So if somebody opens this up and is looking at it, they're really not going to know that I'm trying to recreate chevron from a sketch, but in my mind, it kind of gave me that same feel. And then I'll use this little saying for my title. So it says treasure the moments, and I just thought that that worked really well. I kind of wish it wasn't orange because I used orange as my big layer. And you can see here I'm trying to decide where the title should go based on the sketch because I didn't want to have orange on top of orange. But now that I'm actually doing this voiceover and I'm looking at it, I think I might go back and just mat it with a little bit more of that green paper, the green cardstock, and maybe that will help to kind of pop it off of that background orange. We'll see. If I do that, you will see it in the Instagram photos. I'll make sure to take a picture. And then my last little touch here, instead of doing the stars that you see kind of scattered in two spots in the sketch, I'm going to go ahead and add teeny tiny little leaves. I have this really cute little punch that I got at Dollarama, and it just cuts out those teeny tiny little maple leaves. So I have them punched out of that geometric multicolored paper and the green cardstock paper and a navy blue paper that I just pulled out of my stash. And that's it. that is my layout for this month. If you have any questions, you can leave them for me down below. And there is a discount code down below to get 10% off of your Wild Whisper purchases if you want to go shop at their store. You will also find links to everybody else who played along this month. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.